Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's go ahead and take a look at today's lesson objective. So today we will solve division problems with a 0 in the dividend or with a 0 in the quotient. Okay, now just as a reminder, the quotient is the answer to a division problem, and the dividend is the number of objects we are dividing. Okay, let's go into our problems for today. So our first problem we're going to look at is 804 divided by 4. And we're going to solve this using the standard algorithm method or long division method for division. So I'm going to go ahead and write 800. And I'm going to go ahead and that's our dividend. So that's the number of objects we're dividing. And then we're going to divide that by 4. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to start dividing the largest unit. So in this case, our largest unit is 8. It's in the hundreds place. So if I have 8 hundreds and I want to divide them into 4 groups, that would give me 2 hundreds in each group, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and multiply 2 times 4 to figure out how many hundreds I use. So 2 times 4 is 8. Now I'm going to go ahead and subtract. So now I have 0 hundreds left over. Now we have to go ahead and bring down our 0 because we're going to see how many tens we have. So we have 0 tens. So how many tens can I place into, or can I divide into groups of 4? 0. I don't have any tens to divide. So I have 0 tens that I can divide into my 4 groups. Now I'm going to multiply 0 times 4, which is going to give me 0. Now let's see how many tens we used. Well, we didn't use any tens. We didn't have any tens to begin with, right? So we're going to go ahead and take those 0 tens and combine them with my 4 ones. So now how many ones can I divide equally into 4? I have 4 ones. I can put 1 1 in each of my 4 groups. So now if I do 1 times 4 to see how many ones I used, I will have 4 ones. Let's subtract them. And I have 0 ones left over. So I have a remainder of 0. So my quotient for 804 divided by 4 is 201. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at another problem. So we have 4,218 divided by 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and use standard algorithm again. So I'm going to go ahead. My dividend is 4,218. That is what we are dividing, and we are dividing that into 3 groups. So let's go ahead and get started. So now I have to start with my largest place value, my largest unit, which is thousands. So I have 4 thousands. How many times can I divide the 4,000 equally into 3 groups? 1 time. I can put 1,000 into each of my 3 groups. So I have 1 times 3. I've used 3 of my thousands, and now I'm going to subtract that away. I have 1,000 left over. I'm going to go ahead and change this 1,000 into hundreds. I'm going to combine that 1,000 with my 200s. Now I have 12 hundreds. So how many times can I divide 12 hundreds into 3 groups? I can put 4 hundreds into each of my 3 groups. So now if I multiply 4 times 3, that's going to give me 12. So if I take that away, I have 0 hundreds left over. Now, let's go ahead and combine this with my 110. So I have 0 hundredths plus that 110, so I have 110. I can't divide 110 into 3 groups, so that is going to leave me with 0 tens in each of my groups. So how many tens did I use? So I have 0 times 3, which is going to be 0, and so now I have 110 left over. I'm going to take that 10 and I'm going to combine it with my 8 ones. So now I have 18 ones. How many times can 18 ones be divided into 3 groups? That is 6 times. So now how many ones did I use? Let's go ahead and multiply 6 times 3, which gives me 18. So I used 18 ones, which means I have 0 left over. So I don't have a remainder. So my quotient, my answer is 1,406. All right, let's go ahead and review today's lesson objective. So today we solved division problems with a 0 in the dividend, the number that we are dividing, and or with a 0 in the quotient, the answer. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. This was such a fun lesson to go over with y'all, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'll see you next lesson. Bye, everybody.